Good morning, my YouTube friends. It's been a while since I've done a knife review, and what I've got for you today is the Becker BK16. Seems to be a popular choice amongst survivalists, some bushcrafters as well. I don't know if it's the price, the features, or what it is, but we're here at the Woodlands North testing facility today, and we're going to beat up on it a little bit, so stay tuned. All right, let me give you my initial thoughts of this. So here's the sheath that it comes with. Just a simple nylon sheath. It does have a plastic insert for the knife. It's got these two clips here, or snaps I guess you can call them. So the knife is definitely not going anywhere, but it does rattles a little bit, not too bad I guess. Has this front pouch here, and included with mine was two extra handles if you don't like the color of the ones that come with it. This would be perfect for fitting in perhaps a sharpening stone or maybe a ferro rod or something like that. Seems to be a decent size. Now this does have a belt clip here, so you can slide this on your belt, wear it that way. Also has some MOLLE attachments here, so you can mount it to your pack or whatever you need to do with it. As far as sheaths go, this is probably the most basic one you will get. Definitely nothing special about it, but it does do the job. All right, so I've taken it out of the sheath. First impressions, it's balanced quite nicely. Feels nice. Got a little palm swell here, and it seems to fit my hand nicely. I've got, I wear XL size gloves, and sometimes those are even a little bit tight. So I think it would fit most of you probably well. There is a little bit of texture on these plastic handles. I don't know if it'll be enough grip, but if you just put a little bit of tape on here or something, you can get grip tape, it'll be just fine. And hopefully the camera picks this up, but look how thick that spine is. So it doesn't feel overly heavy, balance is nice, and let's see how sharp it is. This is out of the box, not touched. Yep, definitely very sharp. So the edge is a hollow grind, and it's made from 1095 steel. All right, let's do a little chopping test here. No problem. Slicing. Make a small tent peg. Definitely sharp. It slices quite nicely. Okay, of course, I know most of you are going to want to see how this thing batons. Some people don't like the baton, but on a knife that's this thick. I don't see why it's going to be a problem. So let's see what happens. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem with that size log. Let me see if I find something else here. All right, this log is probably the biggest you could cut with this this size knife. Just barely hangs over the edge, and as it is, I don't know if this will work, but we'll try it. Really, no problem at all. Just couldn't get any room to baton on the knife blade. All right, again, this is not something everyone's going to do, but we're going to give it a little basic tip test here. Tip looks good, still straight. I see that this coating is definitely taking a bit of a beating here. But other than that, good to go. All right, let's try limbing this small branch here, see what happens. Yeah, does the job. All right, let's see if it can make some feather sticks here. Well, I'm definitely not the world's best feather stick maker, but that'll definitely do and help you start a fire. I know a lot of you are going to ask, fire steel, and the answer is nope. This coating prevents it from being able to properly strike this ferro rod here, and I guess there's a little indentation here. I don't want to use the blade, but there's a little, see that indentation right there? See if that might work. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess even with this coating, you have two options. You can use this little nub down here, or you can just sort of Dremel out a small piece of this and get that working. But hey, it works just like it is. So if you watch my channel for any length of time, these two bottom knives here will look pretty familiar to you. This is the EKA Nordic. This is the knife I probably prefer the most out of all my knives. And this is the SE4. Again, I've used both of these quite a bit and do like them both very much. And around the same size is the Becker BK16. Now, price-wise, this one at the time I think was about $115. I don't know what it is now. The SE right now is probably around $120. These are US dollars. And the Becker is currently on the Becker site for, I believe, $75. I got it about a year ago on Amazon for a sale for $65. So you can imagine that's quite a bit cheaper than the other two. And really, the only major difference would be the sheath. Definitely the EKA, Eka, I don't know how it's called, has the nicest sheath, and it comes with a little ferro rod. And the one with the SE, a lot of people don't care for it. I don't mind it. It's a plastic sheath, but does the job. And of course, this is the one that comes with the Becker. Does the job. Certainly nothing special though. One thing I wanted to show you is this coating on the Becker is definitely much more rough than the coating on the SE. And you can see this has only been used a few times today, and it's already dirty. The SE has been used several times, and I haven't cleaned it, so it's hardly caked on. You can see a little bit of sign of use there, but this thing is definitely much rougher, and a lot of people say that that gives you a little bit of friction going through the logs, and definitely through that big log, I did feel the difference. Next thing I want is you guys to give me some input here. Put the video on pause. Tell me what you think about the Becker BK16. Is it a good knife, suitable for survival, bushcraft, or not? Put it in the comments. Also, I watch a lot of your channels as well, and I'd like some feedback from you guys. Are there any other tests you guys would like to see from these knives that I do? If so, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Unfortunately, all I have is this really crumply piece of paper. I just wanted to check if the edge was still intact after a fair bit of use. See what happens here. Yeah, it's still pretty sharp. So I don't know if you could see behind me here, there's a big pile of wood. I've just been batoning and slicing through it just to see what the knife was all about, if anything stood out about it, if it was uncomfortable. And I have to say, it was joy to work with. It did slice quite nicely, and I didn't find any hot spots. I was pleasantly surprised because even though this is a plastic handle, it does have, I guess, just enough texturing that it doesn't slide around too much. And I certainly didn't have any problems with it, even though my hands were a bit wet at times from the snow that's melting out here today. I did do some testing, and after all this batoning and everything, I did slice through a piece of paper again, and this still did retain its edge, so that's good news. One of the things I don't like, the sheath, not a big deal for most people, but it's that's all I could say about it. It's a sheath, does the job. There are way better sheaths out there, but anyway, enough about that. The only other thing I wasn't crazy about was this coating. When you could see it's already scuffed up, it's not going to last long if you're doing this kind of work. If you're going to just leave it somewhere that people can look at it, it won't rust, it's a good idea. But if you're actually going to use it the way I've used it, you probably want to remove this coating. And on that note, that is one of the reasons why this knife is quite popular. In this category, it's one of the cheaper knives. So a lot of people do start with this knife and they modify it. One of the things they do, almost always the first thing, is remove the coating. Put in some paint thinner or paint remover, scrape off all this paint, put a little patina on it, and a lot of people even go so far as putting some custom handles. You could make your own. These are pretty easily removed with an Allen key, a few minutes and they're off. And you can make your own or buy your own, whatever you prefer to do. So I think we've hit all the bases here. We've done, we cut through a little sapling with no problem. We've done some heavy duty batoning. At least for this knife, we've done a log that was just about as thick, where just maybe not even half an inch of this blade was sticking out, and it cut through it with no problem. Yeah, there was a little bit of friction from the coating, but it's not going to stop you from doing it. It's just something you will notice when comparing it to other knives. And we did manage to do some finer work, do a little tent peg, some chopping, and even some feather sticks. And you know what? It did a pretty decent job at all of them, so I have no problem recommending this knife. It is a pretty decent knife, and I do feel that it'll last a long time. My friends, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and please come back in the next video. Till then, take care.